Hello, welcome to Flower Juice. My name is John McDonald, and today's video is really just inspired by the materials that I have. So I kind of say this quite a lot, but that really does give you a starting point for what you might do. So what I've got is I've got this really nice wooden tray, which I've used for Christmas designs, but I've not used for anything else. I've got this piece of what was ivy that was actually growing against the house, and when we were stripping it all off, I saw this bit was really nice. I decided to keep it, and it's an interesting piece of wood. But I've also got these coconut spathes as well, which I think are really interesting. So what I've done in here is I've got a couple of little dishes with some kenzans or pinholders. These ones were from a charity shop. This one's one I've had for a while. And what we're going to do is we're going to put a little bit of water into the container there. So it's important that we have a water source for our flowers. But I didn't want to have basically water in the whole tray. I didn't have a container that would fill it, and I didn't want to use Oasis as such. So really what we're wanting to do is make a sculptural design that's essentially like a dried design, but with, you know, a real structure of, like, how cool is that? Straight away we've got something that's really interesting. We've got a base, we've got a bit of structure, and then by adding these pieces here, we are starting to get something that's really interesting, and it's just going to hold itself together with its own strength, which is great. So I think that is really the kind of thing that you want to do, is be open to and available to use things that are available to you. So potentially, if you've got these spathes, you might want to use them again and again, and it's just looking for different ways to use them. Now, one thing about the spathes that I do think is important is probably not putting them in the water itself. If you put it in the water itself, they will tend to be damaged. So you can put them onto like a false stem, that would work quite well. But it seems a real shame to actually have them damaged. So what we've done is, very simply, we've created a framework for our flowers. So the flowers that I want to use are these beautiful germinis. I think they're really, really interesting, and we've got some nice shapes on there as well. I've also got these beautiful anthuriums, and this was the main flower that I fancied using in this anyway. And just in case we need a little bit of filler, I've got a little bit of Ming fern and a little bit of sedum. So the first things that we're going to do is place our anthuriums. So with the pinholder, you can just go straight down onto it, and it's quite interesting. Now, I don't want to have it too low as such. I'd like to capture a bit of space up into here, so I think this is quite interesting. The two work, but it's where to put the third. I don't want to hide too much of that material as well. So do we come out here, or do we... I think we go in here. Is quite good. Now, it does have to go in water, so I have to make sure that I am coming in and making contact with the water supply. So that is our main flowers. So this is the thing that's really giving body to this design. And our secondary flowers are then going to be these beautiful gerbera. I just love these. I think they're so interesting. And what I thought might be quite interesting is having them kind of lower down. But like this one has got a really nice shape. So it would be a little bit of a shame to cut him short and put it elsewhere. So we can bring him in. Well, Try and bring him in. In such a way that we actually see the line of that. So because we've got the line of that one out there, it might be quite nice to bring one out to this side as well. Let's have a little look. I think definitely to the front would be good. And we can actually make use of our wood, our roots as well. So I'm going to have to go quite low for this. I also need to be really careful because my knife is brand new, and when they're really new, they're really dangerous. You really are at risk when they're that new and they're sharp. And I would like for this to also look backwards a little bit as well. The reason I do that is it basically takes your eye through. We're seeing another aspect of the flower, and it makes it more interesting. Now, in some ways, it doesn't matter where the stems go to get what we want to achieve, but we need to know that they are in water. That's the bad thing with these big spathes, is they are taking up room and blocking access a little bit. But that's fine. So, we've got our structure, we've got our main flowers, we've got our secondary flowers. So now it's just a case of looking and thinking, do we need to add a touch of something that is going to act as a contrast, slightly softening the design? And I think the Ming fern is quite good for that. I think it's also quite good for lasting. Do we need this? Do you know, I don't know if we do. We maybe take just a little bit and pop it in. Depends where you would put an arrangement like this. Like, I think this would look really good on like a console table. But if you work it so that it looks good from both sides, there's no reason why it can't be all round and viewed as a long table centre, which would be quite interesting. So I'll let you just see how this works. You see, we could bring in a couple of anthuriums this side, and then you've got an all-round design. But essentially, this is our design. We've created a lot of interest. Yeah, where do we want them to go? I want you to sit up a little bit. Or you can sit down. Yeah, up's better. Yeah. So we've got a lot of interest because of the structure that we've created. We've got high impact from the framework of the dried materials. They're not in water, so they're not getting damaged. We've got lots of impact from our anthuriums, which are really eye-catching, and then complemented by the softer nature of the germinis. But colour-wise, we've kept it really simple. We've not got any big changes in colour. Everything is really kind of sympathetic and works together really well. And just that change in contrast between like the spathes and the Ming fern gives lots of interest. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video. It's always interesting to see the potential in some material, keep it, and when you get the chance to use it, and it's those combinations that are really exciting. So thank you for watching. We've got lots of videos and we'd love you to maybe check out this one from the past. If you go into the description, there's a link to one of our previous videos that's also quite interesting. So it'd be nice if you could watch that as well. If you haven't already subscribed, then we'd love you to subscribe. Click the like button, tap the bell to keep up to date with our notifications, and we really hope to see you for our next floral design.